We are the prestigious University of Nigeria in Nsukka, Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria, where students have lamented the insecurity situation around the university community. As a matter of fact, in the last few weeks, there have been news of incessant kidnappings of students around the university community, including the death of a student on campus.
I felt sad because she was my classmate.
Really?
Yes, and we had practical that day, so everybody saw her, we saw her, and the next thing, we were looking for her. It's not like we were devastated at some point, but it was so shocking that something like that could happen in a school environment that's supposed to have very tight security because of their students. We are not so close, but I used to see her in class, we used to greet, we used to talk, but when we heard the news, like everyone was like, it actually brought everyone down because we're not expecting that kind of thing to happen.
It's a bit unfortunate because seeing young people in their prime losing their life carelessly and recklessly, it's heartbreaking for me. And I encourage the university community to be more security conscious, especially during this time, during this economic hardship, where many people are into money rituals and into kidnapping of all sorts.
I've been hearing about UNN though before I came down here, but I don't know there's like insecurity here and things like this can happen in school premises.
This particular spot was where Favor's lifeless body was found decomposing just behind the Unn Nsukka male hostel at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka on Friday, July 5th, 2024. Sparking widespread anxiety over the institution's ability to ensure the safety of its students.
I heard that a first-year student was found dead with her cleavages, private parts cut off. So I believe it must be guys, all these Yahoo guys or ritualists that must have used her.
I was in my lodge when I saw the news on my group platform. I was quite shocked that this is a 100 episode, and according to rumors, this is not the first time that's happened. Like, it's been happening, and I'm like, how is this possible? But I was thinking of that it didn't happen during my time because of that. Well, I was quite shocked by the girl this thing. According to some sources, they said she received a call that she wanted to meet her boyfriend, and she went out. Her hair was lost and the smell was good.
Adding to the distress, a 25-year-old male pharmacy student, Ugu Mark Chukwebuka, known as Bukati by his friends, has been reported missing. Chukwebuka was last seen on Tuesday, July 23rd, after he told his friends he was heading to the Peace Mass Transit to collect a waybill. Since then, neither his friends nor family have heard from him. His disappearance was officially reported to the Unn Security and local police on Thursday, July 25th. Despite ongoing efforts by the authorities, Chukwebuka's whereabouts remain unknown, deepening the worry of those close to him. In yet another troubling incident, a student went missing after following her friends, but did not return until a few days later, further adding to the unease on campus. Professor Florence Orabweze, a faculty member at the university, voiced her concerns about the threats she has received due to her outspoken stance on issues impacting the institution. She expressed that the university has been overtaken by mafias, which has contributed to a hostile environment.
I think we can call the university a university that is now mafia controlled. You don't blame the kids. They are not saying anything because they are afraid. If they see anything, they can fabricate something. They may even get killed. I've been threatened for the past 5 years in the university because I spoke out, defended our students and staff. My own children, they have been threatened.
The university's public relations officer has described Favor's death as an isolated incident, which is still under investigation, and insists that the university remains a safe environment for learning. The officer assured the university community of their safety and the institution's commitment to security.
Security within the University of Nigeria is one of the strongest and has been attested to even when NUC came visiting severally They gave us thumbs up. Probably this is the only university that's been described as the safest amongst universities in Nigeria. Unfortunately, too, one of the students here was found dead. Yes, that was very pathetic on our part. We did follow up and put all the necessary machineries in motion to investigate, and found that actually there was such incident. And firstly, we approached the parents, and the management here took care of situations and invited the police and all. Investigations are still on. The issue of kidnapping does not exist on any of our campuses. The alleged story of a student being kidnapped, totally false. Very untrue. And the day we discovered that this was trending on social media, we followed it up and found that the student in question had visitors, friends of hers who came from outside, and called her out. She came down to meet with them, which is allowed, and she drove out in their company. 2 days thereafter, neighbors, mates said they had not seen her. It now became a kidnap story. Glad to tell you that student is back. Okay, it might be interesting to note also that when you go outside the confines of the campus, you are now a public person. You are no longer, you are a student, quite okay. But our responsibility is limited. It's the community that assumes responsibility over that. Because if you commit a crime outside, the police is there to take care of it. Anything that happens outside the campus, we will only take note because our student probably was mentioned.
The Dean of Student Affairs also spoke, shedding light on the difficulties of nurturing today's youth in the face of such challenges.
Because parents have failed, families have failed, so they push them to this place. Sometimes when they get admission, parents are happy that they're leaving, unknown to the families that are coming here to become bunch of trouble to the society. I was telling you in Nsukka, this small Nsukka, we have close to, in my last count, more than 50 hotels. And I'm not talking about anyhow hotel. I'm talking of 2-star, 3-star hotels. And Nsukka is a small town to have this number of hotels. Yet we're having them. Fine. We're waiting for the factories and the big industries that will run commensurate with the number of hotels we're having. But now, as a dean of students, I feel threatened, I feel challenged that these hotels, of course, children will be children. Sometimes they stray and go for what they call social life. And without guide, and sometimes when they're going, they won't even tell the authority so that we can provide what they should have as protection. This generation is tough, no doubt. And we must begin to shift there must be paradigm on how to train them better because we can get the best out of them. They are smart. So if you deploy them effectively, you know what I'm talking about. When they get engaged in internet fraud, they can swindle the whole money in our CBN. But if you deploy them properly, train them, equip them, they'll be useful. I see a generation that is quite full of potentials, but the systems and institutional framework have dilapidated to the point that we can't tap the benefit from them. So we're seeing the only thing we're seeing is negative. So, and that is causing a lot of gap widening between their generation and other generation. Our training must now begin to become all-inclusive so that it's not just we write in our certificate character and learning. That character aspect must now be given much more attention.
As the University of Nigeria Nsukka continues to grapple with these security concerns, the effectiveness of the measures being put in place by the institution will be closely watched. Whether these efforts will restore a sense of safety remains to be seen.
Are there measures the institution preliminary have put in place to forestall these kinds of incidents? I know that the institution has to be out for moves to be made, but are there other things that the management of the institution have done for security purposes within the campus?
A man was invited for an interview as advertised for the post of Chief Security Officer. And the panel sat And they now asked him, please tell us what measures you will adopt to provide security in this institution that we want you to be the chief security officer. He looked at them and said, as I look at all of you, as I'm looking at all of, I suspect all of you.
This is Charles, reporting live from University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
All right, thanks so much for watching. Please stay safe wherever you are in this country. Remember, more hunger, more evil.